Hello students, welcome to this next lecture of strength of materials. So in the previous lecture we have studied the concept of stress. Now today we are going to solve some problems related to stress and strain. So before going further, let us discuss about various types of stresses. So the first type of stress is normal stress, and the second there can be more than there are actually four types of stresses, but for this course let us just focus on two types of stresses: normal stress and tangential or shear stress. Normal stress, as the name is suggesting, it is normal to the perpendicular to or normal to the cross section of the member. So you can see this diagram for normal stress. So if the load is axial, so what if you are cutting a section here? So if you are cutting a section here, what we will be seeing? We will be seeing a equal and opposite reaction. So if P is in left direction, so it will be in right direction to balance, to maintain the equilibrium. So this is perpendicular to the section. This is your section and this is perpendicular. So this type of stress is termed as normal stress. So it can be of two types. If it is away from the section, it is trying to tear it, then it will be termed as tensile stress. And it can be the stress can be towards the section also. In that case, if you are cutting the section here, you will see this force is trying to compress, trying to contract the section or contract the body. So that means this type of stress is compressive in nature. So tensile stress is a normal stress acting in such direction that it resists the elongation of the member. They tend to elongate or stretch the body. In the same manner, compressive external forces tend to shorten or compress the body. The internal forces at a section of the body act away from each other, as you can see in this diagram and this diagram. Let me just clear it. Now the second type of stress is shear stress or tangential stress. Like the name is suggesting, it is tangential to the section. So if some force is like this, so what it will try to do, if you are cutting here, you can see this is parallel to or tangential to the surface of the section. If the external forces tends to shear the member along the cross section, internal forces developed act tangentially to the cross section. So generally, normal stress is shown by sigma and shear stress is shown by tau. This already we have seen in the last unit of engineering mechanics. So if you are having doubts, you can refer to the last unit lectures of engineering mechanics. Now after stress, let us see what is a strain. A strain, if a body is subjected to some type of load, what it will try to do, it will either, if the force is tensile, it will elongate, okay, sorry, it will elongate like this. So this is the elongation. But if we are trying to compress it, what it will do, it will get shortened by this. So this delta L, whether it can be tensile or it can be compressive, maybe it is expansion or contraction divided by L. So the change in length per unit original length is termed as strain. Why we are going to measure? Because it is a measure of deformation. It will help us to establish the relationship between stress and strain, this deformation. So strain, the symbol for strain is, if it is normal strain is epsilon, and if it is shear strain, it will be gamma. Okay, gamma is like this. So strain is delta L by L, as I have shown you. L is the original length, the deformation per unit original length. So it is what? Length upon length. Delta L is also length is length. So meter by meter will be dimensionless. It is a dimensionless quantity. If the bar is in tension, so this epsilon will be termed as tensile strain, and if it is compression, it will be termed as compressive strain. Tensile strain is usually taken positive. If it is expansion case, it will be taken as plus delta L by L. If it is contraction, it will be taken as minus delta L by L. Clear? Now consider a steel body having, let us see how we are going to represent the strain. So consider a steel body having bar of length L equal to 2 meter. When heavily loaded in tension, this bar might get elongated by 1.4 mm, which means the strain will be how much? Let us see here. Like the expansion was 1.4 mm. How much was the original length? 2.0. So delta L will be 1.4 and L will be 2 meter, that is 2000 mm. So finally you will be getting 7.0007. So you can see it is not easy to like generate deformation in the body. So because 0.0007 is very small. Clear? Now let us move to the very important law, which is Hooke's law. It is the one of the most fundamental laws of this course. So what is this statement, like what does this law says? An important relationship between stress and strain is given by Hooke's law. So this law combines the relationship between sigma and epsilon. Sigma was normal stress and epsilon is strain, or tau versus gamma. Clear? So this law states some kind of relationship that we are going to see how how stress and strain are related to each other. The property of the material to regain its shape on removal of an applied force is known as elasticity. So this you already know. What is elasticity? Like if this body is elastic and I have pulled it, so what is going to happen? It will expand here, and if I am removing this load, what is going to happen? It will come to original shape. Okay. So this phenomena was observed by Sir Robert Hooke. So some materials show elastic property till they have attained considerable stress, while the other material exhibit such property only for very small values of stresses. So this property was depending upon the stress value. If like some material was behaving like this up to some small stress, but some of the material were showing this behavior at a very higher value, up to very higher value ranges. So the stress up to which the material behaves elasticity is known as elastic limit. So Sir Robert Hooke first stated this property of material in the 1967 after noticing the linear relationship. So the relationship is linear between applied force and deformation. So right now we are not talking about stress and strain, we are talking about force and deformation. Okay, so let us see how this is going to convert to stress and strain. So stress is proportional to strain within elastic limit. So this you have to be very careful while applying Hooke's law. Only up to elastic limit Hooke's law is valid. Okay, so after elastic limit you cannot use this kind of relationship. Stress is proportional to strain. So this is valid, that is good, but up to only elastic limit. After elastic limit we cannot use this relationship. Clear? Now if something is proportional to something, if we are going to remove the proportionality constant, some proportionality constant will be there. In the case of normal stress, the constant is denoted by the symbol E, or it is known as Young's modulus of elasticity, because it is a modulus which is coming into picture when the body is elastic, and some elastic we are studying the elastic behavior. So E is the Young's modulus of elasticity. So if you can see, so sigma is proportional to epsilon, or sigma is equal to E times epsilon. Clear? So E epsilon is what? Your strain. So it is dimensionless quantity. So E will be having same unit as that of sigma, that is megapascal, pascal, Newton per meter square, whatever you want to say. Clear? So the Hooke's law is mathematically Hooke's law is sigma is equal to epsilon times E. E is the property of material and may have fairly constant value. So E is the material property. It does not depend upon the stress value. Okay. So for a given material, E is fixed. Like for steel, E is 210 GPa. For aluminum, it is 70 GPa. It is 200 to 210. Okay. So for brass, it is 104. So like that, if the material is given to us, we can easily calculate. We can easily get to know the value of E, because it is a constant quantity. It is a fundamental property of that material. It is not depending upon the load or stress or any other value. If material is fixed, E is also fixed. And in the case of, it can also vary depending upon the stress and may depending compression and tension. So for compression and tension it can vary, but for most of the cases you will be seeing that E is constant in stress, like tension and compression also. Okay, so in the case of shear strain, the relationship I have told you, what how it will going to be, act like here G times phi. G is what? Modulus of rigidity. So how, what, why this is coming like here it is coming like E, here it is name given as modulus of rigidity, because this modulus is acting upon, when, why it is coming to picture, when we are trying to acting like in the elastic limit, that is okay, but what type of behavior we are checking, elastic behavior we are checking. Here if we are shearing somebody, body will tend to deform. So it is not, if G is very very high, it will not tend to deform that body. If E is very very high, it will not allow the deformation. So that is why for different type of load, different type of modulus will come. Now sigma we have seen like epsilon times E, so epsilon will be sigma by E. Sigma is what? P upon A, and so delta L by L, this strain is delta L by L is equal to P by A. So finally we can see that linear deformation is PL by A. Linear means axial along the load. If a bar is axially loaded, so this much elongation you are going to observe. Clear? Now let us see this problem is there. A circular bar of 20 mm diameter and 200 mm long is subjected to force of 20 kilonewton. Clear? So we have to find the stress, strain and elongation in the bar of, if the value of E is how much? 80 GPa. So I think this is this if E is around 70 to 80, it is aluminum, or we don't care, like we have to solve the problem. So a circular bar is there. Circular bar means what? This cross section is circular. It is having length of 200 mm. Subjected to a force, let us say force is tensile, so this is 20 kilonewton. Now what we have to find? We have to find the stress, strain and elongation. So stress is nothing but 20 kilonewton squared, P by A. So area will be pi by 4. How much is the diameter? 20 square. So we will see how much it is coming. Stress is that, and strain will be what? Strain will be P. Let me just remove it. Sorry. So stress we have calculated. Now strain is what? Sigma by E. So stress we have calculated, E we can put, so we will be getting epsilon, and elongation will be how much? Elongation was delta L is equal to L times epsilon. Epsilon was delta L by L. So if we multiply L by epsilon, we will get elongation. So for your reference, I have solved this problem here. So for stress, what we must be knowing the area. Cross section area is coming out to be 314.16, that is 100 pi. A P is given 20 and this is area is given, so 63.66 is the stress. Now sigma upon E, you can see here sigma upon E. So finally after putting the values, you are getting 7.9575 into 10 to the power minus 4. So you can see very small strain is there, and elongation will be strain time length. So you can see only on a like 20 mm long, 200 mm long is like even it is not 0.2 mm. So you can see it is very very small deformation is there. If E is like let's say 200 GPa, okay, so how it is going to affect? This will be like 7.95 divided by 2.5, because 200 is 2. So it will be 0.06. So you can see if we are increasing the E, the elongation is going to be very very less. Let us see the next problem. The ratio of Young's moduli of elasticity of two materials is 2.35. So there are two materials, material 1 and material 2. Okay, so E1 and E2 is there. So ratio is given as E1 by E2 is given as 2.35. Clear? Find the ratio of stresses and elongations in two bars of these materials if they are of same length, same area and subjected to same force P. So let us see what it is saying. So material length is same length and same area and subjected to same force P. So let us see, this is 1, this is 2, this is also P and length is also same. Now the stress will be what? P by A. Here also if 1 and if 2, P by A. So P is also same, A is also same, so stress will be same. Now we have to check the elongation, how elongation is going to affect. So stresses we have noted down, like stresses was stated where the stresses came out to be same. Now what is the strain? Strain is sigma by E. Sigma is same, but now let us see the deformation. So delta L will be L times epsilon, that means L into sigma upon E. L is same, sigma is same, but E is not same. Okay, so delta L1 will be 1 by E1, delta L2 will be 1 by E2. We will take the ratio and we can see how much it is coming in the next slide. So you can see stress is sigma is equal to P by A. Since load and area is remaining same, stress ratio will be 1. Now strain in bar 1, as I have shown you, sigma by E1, stress in bar 2, sigma by E2. So delta L1 by delta L2 is epsilon E1 upon epsilon E2. E1 E2 because this what elongation ratio will be, the ratio of elongation will delta 1 by L2, that is epsilon E1 and epsilon E2. So finally if you are putting the values, it will be coming out to be E2 by E1. So E1 by E2 was 2.35, so finally you will get 0.42. So this was very small and easy problem, just to get you the feeling of how modulus of rigidity is affecting the deformation. Let us move to the next problem. So a bar of cross sectional area 314 mm square elongates by 0.8 mm over a length of 600 mm when subjected to a tensile force of 12 kN. Find the Young's modulus of elasticity of the material of the bar. So let us see how we can proceed. So this is a bar loaded by P. So delta L is what? PL upon AE. Clear? So let us see what are the quantities we have been provided. Elongates by 0.8 mm, so delta L is given. Length is given 600 mm. Tensile force P is given 314 mm square. Area is given. So only unknown is E. So this has become very simple problem. So E can be PL upon A into delta. So let us see how much it is coming. So stress is 38.22 and strain will be sigma by E. So that you can also calculate. Elongation is E times epsilon. So epsilon, you can put the value of epsilon as sigma by E. Sigma was given and 0.8 is the deformation. So all the values are given. So you can get the value as 28.665 GPa or 28,665 Pascal. Megapascal. So 28.665 GPa it is coming out to be. So today we have seen about how we are going to find the deformation, how E is affecting the deformation, various type of stress we have seen and corresponding strains. So in the next class we will be trying to solve more and more problems, and so this is all for today. Thank you.